Right now in Rome, the Italian Open organizers are in a state of complete panic. They were forced to suddenly relocate an ordinary first-round match to one of the largest stadiums available. All of this happened because a 20-year-old player ranked outside the top 40 is selling out seats at a pace faster than established stars. Yes, you read that correctly. A competitor who is only just beginning to enter the mainstream conversation is producing social media engagement levels 5 to 10 times greater than the sport's biggest names. Players like Arina Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek stand as global icons, yet this rising talent is drawing larger crowds than they are, even though most casual fans are only now starting to learn about her. The situation on the ground has turned into pure chaos. We are describing a full-scale logistical nightmare for the event staff and security teams. Tickets disappeared within minutes. The outer courts are overflowing with eager fans who cannot get inside. People are pressing against fences and climbing onto chairs just to catch a single glimpse of her practice sessions. Let's examine the specific numbers, which are truly staggering. When the Italian Open shared a routine update about her arrival, the online world erupted. The volume of comments, shares, and overall digital traffic reached levels tournament officials had never witnessed before for any first-round participant. This frenzy has created a surreal situation where the highest-ranked players in the world can move around the venue with relatively little attention, while a player ranked around 42nd requires a dedicated security escort simply to reach the locker room safely. This is not merely a small group of polite supporters offering quiet applause. It is an enormous surge of passionate human energy that the entire tournament infrastructure was utterly unprepared to manage. Security teams have had to double their presence. Staff members are scrambling frantically to control crowds that match the intensity of a Grand Slam final. You might initially view this as just an entertaining tale about a popular underdog enjoying a strong week, but the most astonishing element of this crowd frenzy extends far beyond what is visible in the stands. The true narrative involves the enormous financial impact she is generating behind the scenes, sending shockwaves through the entire WTA organization. Tournament directors do not typically worry intensely about a round of 128 contest. Sponsors usually hold back their full focus until the quarterfinals or later. Yet at this moment, everyone in positions of authority is rushing to respond. They are reviewing the data and recognizing that the fundamental power structure of global tennis is transforming in front of them. We are observing an unprecedented development, and it all centers on one name, Eala. To fully grasp the sheer madness of this moment, it is essential to consider the broader landscape of professional women's tennis. For decades, the sport has operated like an exclusive club, overwhelmingly dominated by European and American powerhouses. The story has almost always followed the same pattern. Champions emerge from prestigious academies and wealthy nations. While talented players from Asia have appeared before, they have generally needed to work twice as hard to receive even a portion of the primetime media spotlight. Then Eala entered the scene and completely upended that familiar script. She has moved beyond being simply a promising young prospect with upside. She is no longer a temporary novelty appearing on the big stage for valuable experience. Over the past several months, she has transformed into a dominant force on the court. Just days ago in Madrid, she delivered a powerful statement to the rest of the tour. She stepped onto the European clay surface and thoroughly dismantled Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, a former world number 11 and seasoned veteran known for breaking down younger opponents and exposing any vulnerabilities. Eala did not merely survive with a fortunate victory. She controlled the match from start to finish. She displayed exceptional tactical intelligence and raw physical strength that left the entire tennis community stunned. Consider the intense pressure of competing in Europe as an outsider. The clay courts in Rome are demanding and slow. The weather can change unpredictably, and the fans can be unforgiving if expectations are not met. Many young players falter under exactly this kind of environment. They allow the historic weight of these venues to intimidate them. But Eala thrives in the unpredictability. She competes with a calm, strategic ferocity that seems far beyond her 20 years. When she broke Pavlyuchenkova's serve in Madrid, there was no excessive celebration. She simply returned to the baseline with an expression that conveyed she fully belonged at that level. This composed confidence is precisely what unsettles the top seeds. They study her matches and understand they cannot unsettle her psychologically. That triumph in Madrid altered the entire dynamic. It shifted perceptions among fans, the media, and especially her rivals. Eala arrived in Rome not as a hopeful long shot but as a genuine contender. The Italian crowds are famously knowledgeable and passionate. They recognize high-level tennis and do not fill the stands merely for a standard warm-up encounter. They are converging on her matches because they want to witness the established order being challenged. They want to see a bold newcomer capable of disrupting the traditional hierarchy of the tour. Every powerful backhand she strikes down the line sends a palpable shift through the stadium energy. Her opponents begin feeling the weight of expectation even before they walk onto the court. They realize they are not facing just a talented rising star, they are confronting an entire cultural movement. The atmosphere crackles with electricity. It resembles a heavyweight title fight more than an early round tennis match. Yet as remarkable as her on-court performances have been, her impressive tennis abilities are actually the least captivating aspect of this entire story. While observers focus on her aggressive rallies, far larger developments are unfolding off the court. The official tournament website has experienced a traffic surge exceeding 400% in just 1 week. Broadcasters are staring at their monitors in disbelief. The tennis establishment feels unsettled, and the fans are thrilled by the disruption. If you're captivated by this profound shift in sports history, consider joining our community so we can continue exploring the realities behind these landmark moments in tennis. Here's what the television cameras are not completely conveying. When Eala walks onto an Italian clay court, she effectively brings an entire nation along with her. Television broadcasts show only a narrow view of the action, the pristine red clay. The crisp white lines and the two players competing. You might hear the usual sounds of professional tennis, but you miss the way the ground vibrates beneath the stadium and the thunderous roar that explodes every time her racket meets the ball. To appreciate this phenomenon, we must discuss the unique advantage that European players simply do not have. We are referring to the ultimate away-from-home court advantage. Tennis has long been a refined, aristocratic sport where spectators sit quietly in premium seats. They offer respectful applause after extended rallies and wait for the umpire's score call before reacting. But matches involving Eala are shattering those long-standing conventions. Rome and nearby European cities are home to a large and incredibly devoted Filipino community. The people filling the stands are not wealthy tourists on a casual getaway. They are hardworking residents living in Italy, joined by thousands more who endure long train journeys from Milan, Naples, and even across borders to witness this moment in history. They are sacrificing work hours and spending their own money to be present. They are converting these historic, usually reserved tennis arenas into venues that feel like intense World Cup soccer matches. Picture the striking scene created by this crowd. Secondary courts at the Italian Open are covered in national colors. Endless waves of flags wave energetically in the air. Rhythmic, coordinated chants resonate throughout the entire complex. Every point she wins is cheered as if it were a Grand Slam championship moment. This degree of intense fanaticism is something the WTA Tour seldom encounters outside of major finals featuring a hometown favorite. Yet Eala is generating it on foreign soil, thousands of miles from Manila, surrounded by an impenetrable wall of unwavering support. Now imagine yourself in the position of her opponent. You are an experienced European professional who has dedicated your life to maintaining razor-sharp mental focus. Nothing, however, can fully prepare you for the psychological pressure of competing against an entire community. When you execute a superb cross-court winner, the response is heavy silence. The stadium feels vacant for your successes, but the instant you fault on a serve or hit a ball long, the entire venue erupts in celebration. The pressure becomes overwhelming. Your errors are amplified dramatically. You are no longer simply playing tennis against a young prodigy, you are battling a living, breathing force that energizes her with every point. We witnessed this dynamic unfold powerfully in Madrid just days earlier. The raw energy from the crowd helped carry her through the most difficult stretches of the match. Whenever her experienced opponent attempted to seize control, the non-stop noise from the stands shattered her concentration. It formed an impenetrable barrier of sound that disrupted the natural flow of play. European players are trained for neutral, appreciative audiences that value quality tennis no matter the winner. They struggle when confronted by a passionate crowd actively rooting for their defeat on every shot. This extraordinary fan dedication creates an intimidating challenge for anyone across the net. They cannot overcome Eala solely with superior technique. They must endure the overwhelming noise, the constant chanting, and the collective will of a nation pushing her forward. It becomes a nightmare scenario for her opponents on the court. But for tournament sponsors observing from the luxury boxes, it represents an unexpected goldmine. This leads us to the genuine boardroom-level alarm occurring in private meetings. Italian Open executives are examining their digital metrics, and the figures defy traditional tennis expectations. For decades, the business model of women's tennis followed a highly predictable path: promote the top 10 players, sell broadcast rights according to European and American time zones, and rely on an exciting final to attract casual viewers. Early rounds were typically financial afterthoughts. Networks did not compete aggressively for rights to routine round of 128 matches. The economic transformation hitting Rome right now is completely unprecedented in the modern history of the sport. Television networks throughout the Philippines and broader Southeast Asia are engaged in fierce bidding competitions. They are offering substantial sums in USD to secure live broadcast rights for her opening matches. This violates every conventional rule in sports marketing. Regional networks do not usually exhaust budgets on early round coverage, but they understand the value here. Guaranteed, massive, and highly engaged viewership numbers comparable to major domestic sporting events. We are witnessing a fundamental paradigm shift in how global tennis creates revenue. Social media engagement has become the most valuable currency in modern sports, and Eala currently leads everyone else in the draw by a wide margin. A short 10-second highlight of her practice session posted by official accounts generates engagement that dwarfs that of established Grand Slam champions. 10 times the likes, 10 times the shares, and comment sections that move so rapidly they overwhelm the platforms. Algorithms are promoting her content aggressively to millions worldwide because the interaction rates are extraordinary. Before we turn to the crucial test coming tomorrow night, I want to hear your perspective on this significant power shift. Do you think the traditional tennis establishment is prepared to fully welcome this massive Asian audience, or will they attempt to pull the sport back into its familiar European framework? Share your genuine thoughts because the corporate anxiety we are seeing suggests the old system fears this rapid evolution. Major corporate sponsors are under immediate pressure to adjust. Consider a luxury European brand that invested millions sponsoring the Italian Open. They purchased prominent advertising space expecting to connect with affluent locals and tourists. Suddenly, cameras continuously sweep across a vibrant crowd from a different demographic. They realize they risk missing a billion-dollar consumer base because their teams lack the right approach to engage them. Reports indicate European sponsors are urgently seeking Tagalog translators in Rome. They are negotiating regional deals in hotel lobbies to avoid losing the biggest commercial chance the sport has offered in years. Eala has emerged as the perfect corporate bridge. She is naturally linking the historic, aristocratic European clay court tradition with the dynamic, youthful, and highly profitable Southeast Asian market. She's achieving organically what large teams of marketing professionals could not accomplish over 2 decades. She's making millions of new fans deeply invested in an otherwise routine early round match in Italy. This has evolved beyond an inspiring story of a gifted young player climbing the rankings. It is the emergence of a fast-growing financial force that sets its own terms. She's compelling one of the oldest sports institutions to completely overhaul its business model in real time. Tournament directors recognize it. Corporate sponsors recognize it. Television executives recognize it. This is concrete reality, not speculation. The decisive test of this new power occurs tomorrow night, and the entire tennis world is watching closely. On May 6th, she faces Magdalena Frech. The stakes are enormous. Organizers had to upgrade the court assignment purely to manage security and crowd control. This decision alone proves her remarkable influence over the sport. We are no longer discussing online hype or theoretical financial forecasts. This is tangible reality unfolding in Italy right now. Examine the matchup on paper to appreciate the absurdity. Magdalena Frech sits ranked number 45. She's a crafty, experienced player skilled at handling slow, heavy clay. Normally, a first-round clash between number 42 and number 45 would attract minimal attention, perhaps a few dozen fans while the world focuses on top seeds. Nothing about this match is normal. The media attention and crowd anticipation have elevated it to the psychological intensity of a Grand Slam semifinal. Italian organizers are operating in full crisis mode. After reviewing projected attendance, they realized their initial court plan was unsustainable. The secondary venue could not safely contain the incoming crowds. They made the rare choice to move the match to a major stadium solely for security, safety, and basic crowd management. Reflect on what this signifies for tennis globally. A player yet to reach the top 30 is single-handedly reshaping the operational logistics of a premier international tournament. Broadcasters are promoting this opening round match like a major event premiere. Streaming projections suggest it will break every existing record for an Italian Open first-round contest. Even non-tennis fans are planning to tune in just to experience the spectacle of the roaring crowd. She has transcended the sport to become genuine box office attraction. Magdalena Frech will step onto the court aware that millions hope to see her lose. Every serve toss will be met with an intimidating murmur from a crowd heavily supporting her opponent. She must tune out the noise, disregard the waving flags, and concentrate on the ball. It is an immense mental challenge that has defeated even veteran players. The focus needed to survive the first set will be extraordinary. The real advantage lies in the momentum Eala is building with each shot. Every point she wins enlarges the growing wave of support. If she defeats Frech tomorrow night, the impact will reverberate throughout the draw. Top seeds are watching the crowds from their hotels and hearing the chants. They understand the challenge ahead, not only facing a strong player with a powerful backhand, but entering a psychological battlefield. The energy spreads beyond the stadium, influencing the city of Rome and audiences worldwide. A victory would disrupt the planned bracket and raise the event's economic potential dramatically. Merchandise would sell out. Local businesses would see huge increases from her fans. Security protocols would need updating as crowds intensify. The effects of one win would touch every part of the Italian Open. Eala is no longer competing only for ranking points. She is reshaping the WTA Tour's marketing approach in real time. We are seeing developments that extend far beyond one match or one tournament. This surge of popularity in Rome serves as a clear message to the traditional tennis powers. The center of gravity in global sports is moving towards Southeast Asia. For generations, athletes from that region were treated as supporting figures in a European-dominated narrative. They were expected to compete politely, perform well, and step aside for the established stars. That era has ended. The rapid ascent of this player demonstrates that Southeast Asian fans possess the financial strength, dedication, and numbers to shape the sport's future. They demand primetime slots and are dominating social media to amplify their heroes' visibility. They are converting elegant clay courts into vibrant celebrations of national pride. If she advances deep into this tournament, she will redefine the image of a global tennis superstar in 2026. She is dismantling the barriers that long kept the sport exclusive. This cultural transformation is compelling European media to adapt their coverage, research Southeast Asian tennis context, and acknowledge the scale of this story. She is educating the Western world about the power of her community. Corporate sponsors now see the engagement data and crowd energy. They understand their previous strategies are outdated. The entire business model of women's tennis must adapt to embrace this large, enthusiastic new audience. We are watching the birth of a powerful new athletic empire. The old WTA order is giving way to something dynamic and influential. Eala is the driving force behind this global change. The world is now fully focused on her every move. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. How far do you think she will go in Rome? Stay subscribed as we analyze every match in this historic campaign.